And here we have GoSu.IceCream as our pink Terran player on the right-hand side of Mutalisk. He's the winner of the last game. He's put GoSu in the advantage, but every time they've gotten a little bit of a lead, Fusion eSports has come right back, and their Zerg player, our red Zerg player here at the left-hand side of the map, is Everytime.
You did say every time they've gotten a lead,
Nah.
that Fusion would come tied up. So now Fusion every time Fusion is behind, they tie it up. So every time we'll tie it up. Every time.
Every time.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. I did say patterns were unbreakable, so
True.
He should have a free win here.
Right.
GoSu.IceCream should be aware of that, so I'm not sure what he's even doing building a supply depot. He should probably just SCV rush.
Yeah, he
and
should have
get it
just
over
laid
with.
down by now, really.
Yeah, so hopefully every time isn't, alarmed that he hasn't SCV rushed, so, he'll continue building things and try to win.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would the SCVs make it over there on this map by this time, though? I actually don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either. It's a long walk distance on Metropolis.
It's a question for the ages, but
no one will ever measure it ever.
That's true. So, every time, we'll see what his strategy is going to be. We are cross spawns, of course. This is one of the maps, though, which is not forced cross spawns. He could have spawned here, and you would have had that close positions by air, which is actually exploitable pretty easily by drops and stuff like that. It's not as bad as something like Lost Temple or Metalopolis were, though, where it was a tiny, tiny area across close positions by air. Or Desert Oasis, which was just silly.
Desert Oasis was actually an amazing map, and all it needed was a chance. It just needed a chance.
I don't know about that one.
What's so bad about it? Nothing. Exactly.
Everything.
So,
I was thinking everything was bad about it.
But every time there was a good game on it.
Nope. That's I don't follow.
Torch nuke rushed on Desert Oasis. How could it not be good?
And we did see a so it's not the last recorded incident of a nuke rush, because we did actually have one in this tournament.
That's right. Either way, we do have a game starting to go here. I wish the spectators would just be a little more quiet,
less chatty,
not type quite so much.
All right. Well, anyway, so Gaz is being bypassed for a little while here. We'll see if he decides to drop down here in a second. Interesting, he didn't decide to go. Oh, it looks like he's just saving up and waiting on 17 drones specifically for the express purpose of building up extra resources and going for more queens. Bypassing Gaz for this long does tell me that he wants to go for I'm sorry, I was looking at wrong supply there for a second. that he wants to go for a 4-queen build or something along those lines.
And IceCream is supply blocked, oh no, for several seconds even, but he already has his SCV building. There's no need for him really to have that cap space unless he wanted to make more Marines, which now he can because his depot finally finished. Yeah, so both players expanding already on Metropolis. IceCream going for another expansion already at only 4.5 minutes in, so we'll see how he plans to macro out of this. Obviously, the more command centers you have, the more orbital commands you can make, and the more mules you can drop, and the more minerals you can mine, and then the more other stuff you can build, and it just gets crazy from there.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's almost like you can construct an army from the ground up in this game with the appropriate number of resources.
All right, 4 Lings coming in here. 2 Marines are just going to gladly take free shots at them as they try to run by. Actually, more Lings coming in, and IceCream only has a couple of Marines left here. Actually, that depot is not going to be able to do anything as far as a wall off, and the Marines actually get chewed to tiny little pieces already. SCV's focusing down these Lings, but they are going down in pretty large numbers for an attack of this size. I expect 2 to 3 more SCVs to actually fall by the time any Marines come out and can deal with this.
Well, you were talking about you were looking for a free win, and I don't know if this is going to be it right away, but this is a huge amount of economic damage.
He is chomping down those SCVs. Look at that. There's 3 of them in dark red health now, and if he manages to snag all those, that one on the bottom there, one more little bite from a Zergling would take him out. Is he going to manage to get it? Yep, there he does. And one more for the ages.
Wow.
And the Ling is still going. They're not even SCV drilling him in the face. Oh, the Marine finally pops out. 11 workers killed by 12 Lings?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Ridiculous.
That's pretty good. And it looks like, wow, Fusion eSports every time is going to follow this up with a really aggressive tech build, just sitting on 2 bases for now. He's got plenty of workers for the time being, way up on his opponent. Now, of course, Did he pick up on this? No, he didn't see the command center. That actually is a pretty big concern, because with this orbital command finished up, it's actually not going to be that difficult for IceCream to still be in this economically. He can just start spamming down triple mules. There we go. And we'll see that his mineral collection rate is not that far different from his opponent.
That's right, and that's obviously a very nice thing to have as a Terran player, having multiple orbital commands. Like we said just a moment ago, it just accelerates your economy quite a bit, but 16 drones ahead, now 18 drones ahead every time, has a lot of breathing room. There's no way IceCream can really do any damage to him for the next few minutes, so it's going to be important for every time to maximize this breathing room and try to get that tech up. He's got the lair already started and an evolution chamber finished now, so he is taking advantage of it pretty well so far. It looks like the Queen might not stop this SCV from getting all the way in there, but I'm not sure what else there is to see. He does see the lair, actually, so that's important. So we'll see how IceCream changes, if anything.
Okay, well, back at home, doesn't look like he's going to swap and make any Hellions or anything like that, just going straight into Tank Marine right away, already constructing a couple of bunkers to prepare for an attack that would follow up here in just a bit. But as we can see, he started to catch up a little bit in workers, and because of all of those mules he has down, his economic rate is not that much worse, and he can still invest in his infrastructure.
His gas income is a lot lower, but we'll see if that even ends up mattering. He is down about 15 supply as well, because EveryTime really hasn't started to do that maxing of fighting units. He actually has no fighting units on the field right now, unless you count Queens. So we'll see if he actually switches gears after the initial set of layer buildings gets finished. For example, the Spire, he could start just banking all his gas. It looks like he has already begun to do that after starting some upgrades. So he could actually have as many as 10 or 11 mutas by the time that Spire finishes.
Yeah, that's right. And with the engineering base already down, though, IceCream should be able to start putting some turrets in position if he, of course, has the foresight to know that those are coming out. But seeing all of those, all that gas income so early, he scans in the wrong spot, though, and is not going to be able to pick up on the Spire.
That's right, and that's important. And the Baneling Nest is actually coming up now as well, so he could do just Baneling Ling Muta as a nice assault force here against IceCream. IceCream does have a nice wall up at his front of his natural there, and the third base, I'm not sure if that Overlord just near it has discovered it yet. It has not floated over though, so maybe EveryTime is still not aware of it, but he is dropping the creep there at the third anyway, expecting it sometime soon.
That may be true, but of course the economic benefit has already been gained from this third command center. We see just 19 workers difference at the moment. Of course, dropping down triple mules the whole time. Had enough for a couple excess scans.
Oh, two more hatches.
Yeah, it looks like there is actually. We have not just the third and the fourth coming up, but that macro hatch did just finish up. This is the first production cycle, I believe, on it. So 8 mutas are on the way with +1 weapons. And we'll see if they're able to get in there and do any significant damage.
All right, so he's already ramping up. EveryTime has done a good job making use of that free time there, and now it's going to come down to unit control, which obviously IceCream has very good unit control. We'll see how EveryTime does with his Mutalisks when he comes in, and of course, picking targets, of course, is going to be a very, very useful thing. He's going to have to figure out the best points of attack. He's going to have to avoid those Marines and hopefully dodge any turrets. There aren't any up yet, but we'll see how his Mutalisk control is when he gets in here into the main.
Okay, well, he's rolling his way up with with 8 Mutalisks. As we mentioned, there are no missile turrets down yet, and all of the Marines ran away to start destroying these destructible debris.
Oh, here it comes.
And that leaves this completely exposed.
More SCVs ripe for the picking. These 8 mutas are going to happily just plink away at these SCVs, getting them all very low. 2 more mutas show up. That puts them at 10, and the Marines are just trying to get into position now. They might be able to pick off 1 muta. No mutas picked off yet. There's still SCVs mining, so if they bounce back to the mineral line on their way out of here, they may pick up even more kills. The SCVs returning to work early. No one told them that the mutas had not left yet.
That's right. They had the day off. It was a holiday, the Muta Memorial, and
they missed that Muta memo.
Yes.
They missed the Muta memo.
Yes.
There was no staple on their cover sheet.
No.
So they just totally missed it. But now, so now he's got to make sure that he keeps his mutas alive. He did pick off enough economic targets to be feasible. He's up by 60 supply, 55-ish supply here, 28 workers killed. He's just doing a great job so far. And now, we'll just see how he responds to building up this nice advantage.
Oh, he's got a couple of juicy siege tanks here if he picks up on them. And it looks like a few mutas making their way over, but he needs to gather them all and does pick off 1 more tank. He's only lost 1 muta this entire process as well. So this has been very, very effective from every time.
We were curious. Oh, there's another Muta actually going down. We were curious how every time's Muta control was going to look, what sort of targets he would pick, and it looks like so far he's done a good job with that, only losing 2 Mutas, picking up a ton of workers, and that nice siege tank. That's always nice to pick off when you're building a ground army to supplement your Mutalisk. So we do see some red movement on the mini-map. It looks like he's staging up a bunch of speedlings and some nice speed Banes already getting ready to go toward that 3rd base, perhaps.
Every time's done a nice job with his creep spread as well, keeping multiple attack paths open to him. Here come the Mutas right back. That's a fairly significant number, 13 of them, and now they have a sweet spot that there's really not a lot of damage that can be done there. So picks off another couple of workers, gets out of there with only losing 1 Muta, and he's swinging in all the while these speedlings and speed banelings.
Okay, so most Terran players are going to be aware that the Muta harassment is going to be meant to draw his focus away from this 3rd base. The banelings are coming in. How many will he kill? Oh, so many banelings used on just 1 tank.
Yeah, that was not a very well-timed attack from every time. He decided to roll in with all the speedlings first, and the banelings were way, way behind. So all the speedlings were dealt with before the banelings could do anything.
Right, they got splashed down by those staggered tanks quite well. I feel like once the Mutalisks went in to distract, if he had just a little bit quicker movement there, he could have gotten the speedlings and banelings a little bit closer to their target and done a little bit cleaner timing, but still, you know, did some nice economic damage once again. Now IceCream is taking his turn as attacking, and we'll see how every time he's going to be able to respond to this. He has pathogen glands researching now, and 6 infestors on the way. If he can hit some nice fungals on these big bio balls, then he's going to be able to do quite a lot of damage. And there's a drop coming, but he spotted it with the overlords. What are you doing, Mutas? That's still there.
No, that's go kill that. Go kill that.
Oh, he's going to be kicking himself now.
All right. Well, looks like IceCream's just rolling his way through the middle of the map. That's a lot of speed banelings coming through. Are going past a lot of the units, but none of the tanks are sieged up, and unfortunately IceCream loses everything. I think he was more worried about his drop, but it looks like that got cleaned up just now by all of the Mutalisks.
Every time is butchering IceCream right now. He is just stopping him at every angle. He cleaned up that drop with the Mutas. Even though it was a little bit late, he's cleaning up this drop as well. He's going to be able to pick off both of these medevacs with the Mutalisk. His unit composition is doing wonders for him here on this map. Metropolis, that medevac goes down with 4 units inside. The supply difference is 73 right now. Every time just running amok here on Metropolis. IceCream trying to scramble more units here.
Okay, well, so IceCream does have another base done as well, and he's going to float that over to the 4th, but he still has to worry about all of these harassing and attacking units. Finally, missile turret is doing a little bit of damage here. Does manage to pick off 1 Mutalisk, but the missile turret's coverage was not great, and every time going to kill yet more workers. He's up to 41 workers killed to nothing.
41 workers killed is actually just an incredible amount in any matchup, and right now there's so many lings here and a few speed banelings still. This tank needs to siege up. I don't know why he just unsieged, but this is going to be bad for IceCream continually.
Yeah, and this siege tank will fall. Good number of Marines still left over, and even though these aren't the most cost-effective trades for every time, he still has so many extra forces that he can just kind of afford to throw waves of units at his opponent just to pin him down for a while. As you pointed out to me, there are 8 Broodlords on the way now. And it looks like the starport coverage finally starting to get established, but it's a little bit too late now.
Man, those infestors already have pathogen glands, so they're good to go. They're just, you know, getting more energy as this goes on, probably maxed by this point. Lots of Broodlords, 8 Broodlords in the air now. Really all every time has to do is supplement with those speedlings to take the brunt of the damage while the infestors move into position and the Broodlords slowly move into position. But anti-air is perhaps going to be an issue. There are going to be a lot of Vikings here on the field soon. IceCream transitioning into this nice anti-air here, not just for the Mutalisks, but for the Broodlords. So every time we'll need to be aware of that, probably make a couple of Corruptors just to be able to stay on hand and defend.
He does have 5 coming up. He just dumped a lot of his drones into spine crawlers. It's 95 drones at the moment, so his standing army is going to be quite a bit weaker than his opponents, but in terms of just sheer overall army supply and resource count. But
oh man, another dead medevac.
Yeah, no kidding. That's got to get back and start dropping down units very quickly, but gets found out, and that's the important part.
Yep, and the medevac goes down with about 4 units still inside. These 4 Marines actually picking off 2 Mutalisks, probably the last one as well, without losing any Marines. Wow, really crazy stuff there, but the Lings, of course, are going to come in and finish that off. Man, that was not a good trade. Those mutas could have killed the medevac with everything inside, and instead all 3 of them died.
Well, looks like every time staging up now. Just a small amount of infestors. We'll see if that's going to be enough to defeat the Vikings. Wow, one of the Broodlords gets picked off very quickly, nice but Fungals do start hitting the Vikings. They're going to need to chain those a couple of different times, though, but the Broodlord numbers have already been significantly weakened.
Yeah, out of 8 Broodlords, only 4 standing now in any kind of decent health, but those Fungals, obviously, he wanted to save some for the Marines, not have to use all of them on the Vikings. Oh, but nice. He's positioning here for the Lings to come in. Infested Terrans going to be able to supplement as well, and the Broodlord's still just sitting so defenseless against these last remaining Vikings. He needs just a little bit more anti-air, but all these Lings, what are they going to be able to do? They could probably rush into the 3rd right now and get some severe damage in, but there's no siege tanks anywhere really nearby here.
No, not at all. And so we'll see what ends up being done here. Energy for a couple of Marines. There's a pretty good trade with those infested Terrans that were just kind of sitting around and not doing too much. Checking around the map for drops, and I don't see any at the moment. And so far, every time is just taking, well, every base up to a 6th now here in the top left-hand corner. 11
Corruptors in production. There we go. That will be enough to morph half of them and still be able to defend.
I just realized they're using a version that doesn't have
the islands. It's a GSL. Yeah, it's a former GSL version. So that's interesting.
Yeah, a little bit entertaining, but every time running with a lot of speedlings, and nothing is going to stop them from making their way into the main.
That's right. There's barely any SCVs in there, though, because he's killed so many over the course of this game. They could just go straight for the SCVs. You don't need to fight those Marines.
It looks like he had a few Zerglings that were pretty efficiently taking those out, but now the Marines are in force, and the Zerglings aren't going to last too much longer, but a few Marines go down in the process as well. Of course, all that supply being replaced by very expensive units, Broodlords and Corruptors on the way.
That's right, so we've got 8 Corruptors standing, 3 Broodlords standing, and 4 on the way, 4 more Broodlords on the way, so this is going to basically get him back to where he was before that last attack. Now this base is going to go down, but it wasn't actually mining anything. Still a nice pickup there for IceCream as he heads back. Trying to equalize this game every time is sitting at max right now, so he will need to form up and try and do another big push in.
Okay, well, another base coming down to the bottom right-hand corner. I imagine he's going to retake this entry. Yeah, we already see the shadow up for it as well. 197 supply to 178 at the moment. Upgrades 3-3 for those Marines. Pretty good air upgrades, though. Ooh, those Marines getting pretty far forward. That's a lot of infestors, though.
Yeah, 15 infestors on the ground here. Broodlords overhead. Corruptors in pretty solid numbers there to be able to deal with those Vikings. And I'm not sure. It's going to come down to positioning here, as it always is. He's going to need some more ground forces, I think, to be able to actually start going into this, because the Marines will stem up and pick off those infestors really fast.
Okay, well, the Broodlord actually taking the brunt of the damage up at the front, but it finally does land a couple of volleys. Really nice Fungals, pretty much capturing everything off to the right-hand side. Are there enough infestors to keep going with those? Yes, there are, and every time keeps on rolling through here. His Broodlords really aren't under any sort of threat whatsoever. Only 4 Vikings remaining, and they actually just popped out, so they weren't an issue in that fight at all.
Huge Fungals going on, more Broodlords joining the fight now. This is just the air count right now, just alone. Corruptors and Broodlords is enough to perhaps take out this force, but with so many infestors still on the ground, Fungals and infested Terrans being dropped all over the place every time is just crushing IceCream.
Yeah, and that may be all she wrote now, as IceCream is really on the back foot. Back down by 90 supply and down on bases. Dropping this one down here in the bottom right-hand corner. We'll be able to take that out. Looks like there's another drop here in waiting, but good luck dropping into all those spine crawlers.
Yeah, well, you don't want to drop into the spine crawlers, that's for sure. Broodlords, or excuse me, siege tanks are going to be needed to try and deal with that, but it's going to be tough to just drop directly in. Now, I mean, this is basically looking just incredibly favored for every time. Even though the drop might take out a hatch or 2, these Broodlords and infestors are going to take out basically everything that IceCream's got. He's hitting the production now, so any new units that are made are just going to die right away. And he's got a sort of last hope pinned up in his main, but I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do here.
No, I mean, that is not that many Marines, honestly, and most of the production structures have already been obliterated. Those infested Terrans don't even feel like they need to fight at the moment. Another hatchery going down. That's annoying for every time, but he's in such a dominating position. Yeah, it just doesn't matter. There's GG, and the pattern will not end.
The unbreakable pattern of win.